All right, guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. Gonna get into that round two recap here for the Masters, as well as give you that round three and the weekend preview here for the Masters. Pretty strong player pool week. 83% of those players made the cut, and one of those missed cuts was a player, a chalk bomb that unfortunately I saw coming, and we'll get into that right now. So I got the player pool pulled up here. Pretty solid player pool. 4 players missed a cut. Played 24 players. And the real point with this is that we wanted to make a concentrated player pool so that the lineups that had 6 for 6 across the cut line had a strong chance to go out and take down GBP. And that's exactly what we done. Sitting in some good spots for those lineups that had 6 for 6 across the cut line. Unfortunately, Daniel Berger was the chalk bomb that I was talking about. Should have trusted my gut there. I wrote it up as that as well. I'm like, for some reason or other, I'm just kind of seeing Daniel Berger as the one player this week that we have no reason to fade that could just be the random chalk bomb this week. That ended up being the case. Sungjae Im was kind of a leverage ownership play to be a high exposure play. Still, Fitzpatrick, Smith, Casey, we're all kind of right around the same price point. Those guys did well. Really just unfortunate, though, with Sungjae Im. I'm still having nightmares about that chip. Really a tournament-changing chip for him where he chipping for eagle, chips in the water. Tournament's pretty much over there. You could see it mentally defeated as a golfer there. Unfortunate there, but pretty great player pool week. Low exposure. Sexton did exactly what you wanted it to do. Risk reward based here. Zalatoris, second place. We love that. Cantlay miscut. Xander in contention to win. Morikawa in contention to win. Oosthuizen made the cut. And then the values, once again, the values continue to dominate, and they're not supposed to do this well. Look at it. Connors, Harman, and then we got Kokrak, Palmer, Matt Kuchar missed the cut on the number, Munoz, and Thompson. And so really, we had 2 players miss the cut on the number. If those 2 players make the cut, it's like 95% of the player pool made the cut. So can't complain there. I wish Berger would have made the cut. I wish Sungjae would have made the cut, but still pretty solid there. We'll get into the round 2 recap, though, here. So we're just going to pull it up. We're going to sort by top 10 owned and see who missed the cut out of those top 10 owned, or 10% or more owned. Let's see here. I had another filter on here. Current place. Let's get that out of there. All right, so Sungjae Im missed the cut. Patrick Cantlay missed the cut. And Patrick Cantlay was more or less, for me, he became a lower exposure play because I saw a path where he could have produced the top 10. Didn't see him winning, which is kind of different from that of Collin Morikawa and Xander, if you will. So there's that. And then DJ there. Let's go. We nailed that. I mean, number 1 player in the world right now, defending champ, said that he was a fade. He was the number 1 fade. Missed the cut, kind of like that. Sergio shoulder shrug play, didn't end up in the player pool, missed the cut. And then Daniel Berger, chalk bomb there. Personally, this is what I don't like about DFS and sometimes giving content is that for me, if like Paul Casey had missed the cut, guaranteed profitable week. Would have been an easier week, especially with the amount of like lineups that wouldn't have had 6 for 6 across the cut line. That would have been nice. But in terms of content wise and like wanting everyone on 9 to 5 Nation to do well, it's like I can't exactly cheer against them. So just interesting there. And then I do want to pull up something else here as well. This is kind of a revamped version of the live leaderboard here. It's same thing, but I want to show you guys a couple of things here as well. We have win rank, which is the same thing that we had prior, but it's just going to show you guys who's most likely to win heading into that next round. And then we also do have this as well. Going to be the same thing, just a little bit more straight to the point. This is going to be us being able to look at which players are most likely to go out and have a good round. Now, obviously, there's still going to be the human element to it, where you want to favor a morning tee time or whatnot, like you could have for this slate. And really for the Masters, it was a little bit different. I was like, hey, the player pool that we have for the Masters is going to be strong. You want to use like Cameron Smith, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth on your round 2 showdown builds. Had so much Sungjae in for me. I played 2 lineups, and honestly, this is probably my biggest mistake of the whole week was only doing 2 lineups for round 2 showdown. I faded Sungjae in one of them, and that lineup did really well. I'm most bitter about that. I just mistake there because Bryson kind of knew that he would have a much better day. Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, expected them to have a much better day. Just kind of kicking myself for that, but really do like this tool. And then we have the round 2 regression, progression, if you will. This is going to be a nice tool, just especially for round 2 purposes, where we can see someone that was a strong play, that they're probably going to have a better round. Now, obviously, with Sanjay M, there's the mental aspect, the human aspect of it, where we weren't exactly expecting him to have a better round. That's where, there's a human element. You got to take away from the data there, but some of these other guys we expected to have a better round. DJ, Berger, Cantlay, we expected those guys to have a better round. And this is different. This is at the end of round 1. This would have been a little bit different here because some of those players, it probably would have been like Justin Thomas. I forget who else kind of struggled, but this is live data here, so it gets updated with regards to their current score. So this is a little bit different here look. And then, it's okay to use for round 3 if you want to. What you would have to do is sort by current place, players that made the cut, so top 50. We could see, who's most likely to have a better round in round 3. So we could see Paul Casey, probably going to have a better round. Jason Kokrak, Webb Simpson, Adam Scott, Neiman, Louis Oosthuizen, Sebastian Munoz, Billy Horschel. Really useful tool there to be able to see which players that made the cut are going to most likely have a much better round. This is what I've been wanting to do. This is what I've been wanting to get the data out to tell you guys. Very simple and easy to use tool. Then we can look at it this way as well. Pull it up. We can search by, who's most likely to have a good round 3, and that's what we get here. This is our round 3 showdown rank. So Justin Thomas, Webb Simpson, and once again, we do want to be favoring that morning tee time. So maybe someone that just barely made the cut, aka Paul Casey here popping up. He's going to be a phenomenal round 3 showdown pick. He's a guy that's been scoring as well. Just needs to kind of put it all together. We can go down to someone like Bryson DeChambeau here, a little bit lower. I'd be good with him as a pick as well, kind of popping a little bit. Going to have that favorable tee time. Cam Smith, I'd be good with him as well. Maybe Abraham Answer if you want to go that route, but you do want to be favoring that morning 2 times. So maybe like Webb Simpson for sure. Love him as a pick. Paul Casey. And then we could probably go with maybe Patrick Reed as well. Kind of, didn't finish the best, +1. Could see him popping up. And then Jon Rahm. I do really want to touch on Jon Rahm because I think that he's going to be a quality weekend pick as a whole. If I had to pick one player throughout the weekend, it's going to be Jon Rahm. Right out number 1 in the model. Going to be just someone that I think has a strong weekend. Had a couple of opportunities that just missed putt-wise. Expect that to come back. I expect those to drop here. And he's a guy where we kind of expected him to start off slow, and I think he's going to have a strong weekend push. Just missed out on a birdie on 18 to really have a strong finish. Even par, I'm good with that for him. Going to have a good weekend push for him. Then we just want to look at who is most likely to win, which we have here. And I do want to just tell you guys right now, this is something that gets updated after the round because it's going off of their current score, okay? So just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that. So we got it pulled up here. We get a pretty good, accurate indication of, who's most likely to win. Will Zalatoris, I don't really agree with that. I would more or less say it's going to be Jordan Spieth, who's ranked 6th, and then Justin Thomas, and then Brian Harman. So that'd be my top 3 most likely to win for me personally. Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, and then Brian Harman. Will Zalatoris, that'd be a freaking awesome story. I just don't see it happening. This is the data. This is where we have to bring in the human element once again, but still playing great golf. Wouldn't shock you if he does win, just with the quality of golf that he's been playing. Tony Finau popping up top 5. Don't know if I agree with that as well. We've seen his choke tendencies. Heck, on 18, he probably saw himself on the leaderboard or knew he's up there on the leaderboard. Ended up choking there as well. Bogeyed that on an easy putt. Hideki, I probably wouldn't agree with that as well. Xander, maybe that'd be nice. Bryson, Jon Rahm, I could see those 2 popping up and playing a much better weekend stretch. But I do want to point out something here, guys. So what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of our outright bets are currently ranking top 10 and most likely to win. Love seeing that. And then we look at the amount of top 12 players, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 10 most likely to win were in our player pool. That's pretty darn good. Then just overall player pool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the top 10 were in our player pool. That's pretty good here. And then just want to touch on this real quick. Really shocking to see Cameron Champ go out and play well. he definitely found something there at the Valero Texas Open in round 2, because he had a horrible round 1 and then kind of put it all together, much like I guess Ricky Fowler that day, put it together for round 2 and made the cut, weathered the storm finally, had a good weekend stretch. And honestly, this is more shocking to me than that of Dustin Johnson missing the cut, because Dustin Johnson has shown some signs that he could struggle. Cameron Champ really hadn't shown that. So surprising there. I do want to just mention Justin Rose. He is the 18th player most likely to win here. Like we expected, had a much, I shouldn't say much worse round, but it was a worse round than his round 1. I kind of expected him to go +2. So for him to stay even par, maintain that lead, good for him. I still don't think he's going to win. I still think this is pretty accurate of, who's most likely to win, but I would probably slot him up here around top 15 or so, maybe top 12. Still though, this is where you'd want to place your bets if you're going to place your bets. I feel pretty good about this, but we can kind of show you guys here as well. This is something still kind of a work in progress, but if you want to look at, I guess by round, you could look at it this way as well. You guys could, do this as well. A little bit different way of looking at it. This is more or less round by round, whereas this is going to be tournament up here at the top. Okay. So this is like round by round who's expected to win on the bottom here, which obviously if you're looking at it after round 1, that's not bad. And if you're looking after round 2, not bad at all. The top one is more or less factoring in the whole tournament, whereas this you can come out and look at really at any time. So definitely something interesting to look at there as well. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully your lineups that had 6 for 6 across the cut line are in contention here. It is going to be a fun little weekend stretch here for those lineups that had 6 for 6 across the cut line, sitting pretty with a lot of like JT, Jordan, Connors, Harman builds here. So it could be a fun weekend here. If Rahm goes low as well, going to be a nice one. So hopefully you guys have a nice little weekend sweat for you guys. If you didn't, that sucks. Not going to lie. The whole Daniel Berger miscut is kind of painful, as well as the haunting Sungjae Im shot on the par 5. That's going to haunt me for a while. And that's kind of the beauty of the Masters, because I'm still haunted by Paul Casey 2019 Masters miscut, where I picked him over Tiger because they're the same play on paper, and I thought Tiger was going to be a lot more higher owned than he was. So I was like, let's gain ownership leverage and go with Casey. That and the Sungjae thing are going to be like the 2 biggest things that haunt me in PGA DFS. But we're out. Let's have a good weekend stretch here. And as always, guys, let's be cashing.